I'm going to walk you guys through a quick derailleur adjustment or shifting adjustment, also called indexing, when the chain's not staying in a particular gear. It's jumping around. Also, you need to know what gear you're in for the shifter. Some shifters have dials, some don't, to let you know where the shifter is. So the shifter and the chain back here on the gearing could be on two different places. So if we want to be really accurate, let's get the shifter. I'm going to shift that all the way into the highest gear. So for any bike, whether you have a 7-speed, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, shifter goes into the highest gear. In this case, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So shifter's in 7, chain is now in 7. We know they're on the same page. So when I go for my first click here, so I'm going to squeeze back here. This is a grip shift, or if you have thumb shifters, the same thing. I'm going to go to 6, and I only have 2 hands. So we got 1 reaction. That's what we want. 1 click should get 1 reaction. Let's do another click. Normally I'm pedaling at the same time, but gotta hold the camera. So we're making progress. So shifters in went from 7, 6, 5. So we got 7, 6, 5. So far so good. I'm gonna click again. Boom. So we should be going to 4. And did we jump to 4? We jumped too much. So 7, 6, 5, 4. That's good. 1 more click. Continue. All right. So chain is having issues right there. So shifter's in 3, we got 7, 6, 5, 4, and the chain's messing around. It wants to stay in 4, kind of wants to go to 3, and then we have 2, 1. So right here we're going to stay and focus on this problem. So chain wants to go to 3 but comes back down. So what we need to do is increase tension. So every time we twist or use your thumb to go into an easier gear, so if we go from 7 to 6, we're going into an easier gear, but we're also applying tension when we do that on the cable. This cable is going to get tight, and that cable gets tight when I pull tension. If I pull, it wants to move that derailleur. So we need to do some fine tuning because there's too much slack in the system. Cable's too loose, like a loose guitar string. We need to tune it. So this particular one has a barrel adjuster. Anytime you see these funky little knobby things, that's basically a screw that drives in this way. So if I go clockwise, it's going to drive down, and this is where things get a little funky. As it goes down, it's actually going in and giving slack. We don't need to give slack. We need to increase cable tension, not decrease cable tension. So we need this tighter. So when I pull tighter, it's going to move and keep that chain in gear 3. So I'm going to go counterclockwise. If this is a screw, depending on how you're standing, what your reference point is, I'm going to go counterclockwise, going counter lefty-loosey. So I'm going to turn this direction. Boom. I'm going to do like a quarter turn or so, or if this gives you a little index click, we're going to go click click, maybe 2 to 3, something like that. Small increments. Be patient. Those are my 2 key points on success. Patience. So let's go. I'm going to go ahead and pedal. So the shifter's still in 3. This chain should behave and jump into 3 and stay in 3, and we want it quiet. So it's still jumping around. That's okay. I'm going to give it some more. So the chain's actually in a real funky spot. So I'm going to give another 1, 2, very small increment. So we're slowly increasing tension, which is going to force the derailleur to go that way, keeping the chain up in that 3rd gear. Still jumping around. I'm going to increase more tension. And this is where every derailleur, 1, 2, is a little different. Some respond well to small increments. Some may need to do more movement, but that's where patience come in. Every bike has its own personality. So it's a little bit quieter. Still a little bit of a noise there, but it's actually behaving. It's not jumping down to 4, because right now we're in 3. 1, 2, 3. So the quieter we get each gear, you can fine tune each gear independently without screwing up the whole system, as long as you do small increments. So I want to get rid of that little right there. I'm going to go very minimal. Boom, maybe just one of those. And I'm still getting just a little bit of a right there. Let's do another one. It's a little better, but not like huge, so we don't want to overdo it as well. It might just be a normal sound. So before you overdo it, just pause there. If you overdo it, it's going to jump up into the next gear without even the shifter making it. So that's when we know we went too far. So I'm going to continue to 2. Shift 2. I don't know if you can see that. So shifted to 2. Changes jumped up. So right around the same page. Shifters in 2, chains in 2. We got one more gear to go. One more click. Boom. And sounds okay. I would just go on a test ride and finish up your fine tuning on a test ride. If you got to pull over somewhere safe. Give it another micro adjustment here, because the bike's going to react different once you put pedal pressure opposed to being in a repair stand. Right now I'm just using my hand opposed to your leg coming down and making the whole chain tight. Chain sits tight on the gearing. Everything's going to change. Sound changes. So always test ride before you head out. But that's basically it right there in a nutshell.